வரேன் சார் இது தெரியும் சார். செல்வ சார் கொடுத்தீங்களா இல்லையா?
Good morning, respected dignitaries, honorable chief guests, and esteemed faculty members, and my dear participants. It gives me immense joy and pleasure to welcome you all to this wonderful day 4 of session 7 in our faculty development program. Yesterday's session left us with enriching insights, meaningful interaction, and thought-provoking discussion that inspired us with fresh perspectives. With the same spirit and excitement, we are gathered here today, looking forward and to another remarkable session that promises both knowledge and inspiration. It's a privilege to welcome our chief guest, Dr. N.P. Subramaniam, Associate Professor in the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering at Puducherry Technological University. With over 2 decades of experiences in teaching, research, and academic leadership, he has made remarkable contributions in the field of power system and power quality. His academic journey begins with bachelor degree in electrical and electronics engineering from Kumaraguru College of Technology, followed by a master's in power system engineering from Annamalai University, and culminated with a PhD from Anna University, Chennai. Dr. Subramaniam's research expertise span across varied transform applications in power system, renewable energy integration, power quality analysis, IoT application in smart grids, and signal processing techniques. He has successfully guided research scholars, published extensively in reputed journals, and authored books in electrical technology and renewable energy resources. His work not only advanced theoretical knowledge but also provided practical solutions for emerging challenges in the energy sector. In addition to his academic and research excellence, he has played an active role in organizing conferences, faculty development programs, and workshops, including those sponsored by AICTE, TEQP, and IEEE. His leadership in projects such as IoT-based smart grid tech-based system has earned recognition and support from national funding agencies. Today, we are privileged to have him with us to share his insights with us, undoubtedly inspiring and enriching this faculty development program. With this note, I humbly invite our chief guest to take over the session. Welcome, sir.
So very good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. First, I have to thank for introduction about me, and I have to thank the management, principal, Nayanand sir, other faculty members, organization team, given me a chance to be stand before as a resource person for this Atal FTP. And I hope you are heading this word sustainability is more than 4 days, right? Nearly 3 days. So you are aware of this, right? First, we should know why you are going to concentrate this particular sustainable development. Okay, there is emphasis on environmental sustainability. That is today's topic. And why this particular topic has been chosen this Atal? Okay, there are a lot of new trending titles are there, but compared to that, this particular topic has been chosen by the organizing team. The reason behind is now this particular environmental sustainability is very important. Okay, so we are going to discuss more about that. In future, they are going to accommodate in our syllabus also. Okay, that also we are going to discuss. Okay, that is called SDG, Sustainable Development Goal. Now already has started in the school levels. Have heard about NEP? NEP 2020? Heard about NEP 2020 or not? National Education Policy. Okay. So it has some unique feature, NEP. So in that NEP, this SDG is one of the main agenda. Okay. You may heard about that CO, P1 syllabus. Have you heard about CO? Syllabus la pathina is your course outcome, program outcome is there, right? So that is again for to ensure quality of the syllabus and ensure the quality of the student after studying that particular syllabus. That is the very brief I'm saying. We have a lot of detailed information. Briefly I'm saying that these are the important things. Similar to that, okay, now we are going to talk about SDG. So few slides I'm going to talk about SDG. That's the reason now the environmental sustainability is more important. Okay, why this teaching to the student level? Because you have to start from the student level so that it is easy to get the proper output. Okay, that's why this particular title has been chosen. Okay, right. Anyways, all are connected to the environment, right? How the society and environmental effect only going to discuss. Okay. So again, since I am plans to electrical engineering, okay, this emphasis on environmental sustainability, I am connecting with some renewable energy sources. I think, like previous session, you discussed about the solar and all. Okay, apart from solar, we have some more renewable energy sources. Okay, that is future trend because we cannot always leave either some fossil fuel based power plants. We have to go for the alternative power plants. Okay, so for that, as electrical engineers, what is our contribution to reach this particular goal? So that's a objective of this particular title. I am connecting this emphasis on sustainability, renewable energy, opportunity and challenges. Okay. Right. So this is about the outline of the today's presentation. Okay. It is introduction about this sustainability and need of history of environmental sustainability, types of renewable energy sources, working of renewable energy sources, what are the merits and demerits, and few applications, case studies, summaries, research scope, and references. What are the references used for this particular PPT? Right? I have used all tools like Google, ChatGPT, many things I used. Then my own experience, I have attended few courses like this, From that I have collected the material, just I have explored among you, And if you have any doubt, anything, feel free. You have to feel comfortable, sit comfortable, and whatever the doubts, queries you can have, You can always welcome, We'll discuss. Okay. Actually, this is a today's problem, That's why. Okay, these are big issues, in the environmental aspect. So that's why the people are talking about the environmental sustainability. Okay, the first one, land. Nearly 50,000 hectares of forest destroyed. Everywhere you can see in the road. Okay, plot 350 per square feet. I noticed or not? 3 lakhs 600 feet. 600 square feet, something like this, So the meaning is all normal land, farming land is converting into plots, and few plots instantly that buildings has been constructed, and many plots are vacant just for investment purpose. They are doing that. So because of this, more cultivations are get affected. This is one of the major issues. Okay. Similarly, that you can have the other for the arable land and the tons of fishes caught. If you see here, sea wise. Okay. Again, this is an ecological problem. So these are the main reason behind why we have to concentrate on the environmental sustainability. Okay, that's the reason. Okay. Otherwise, if you allow as it is, the future generation is have big question marks. Okay. Now itself, production is less, and the supply is less, but demand is more. Okay, we are cultivating very few quantity of the rice and all those things, but consumption is very huge. We are always exporting from some other states, countries. Okay, so if you prolong as it is, our right, பொருளாதாரம்னா ரொம்ப அஃபெக்ட் ஆகும். Okay, economic issues are there. Okay, so that's why we have to stop somewhere and we have to take some remedial action for that purpose. This particular environmental sustainability studies has been introduced. Okay, and how many of you have studied 10th CBSE information technology subjects? Anyone? CBSE. Okay, in that subject this SDG is there. Okay, information technology skilled subject, right? This particular topic is there in that, yes, about the SDG, right? Now this is the, right, 16, 17, right? 17 SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, right? If you look into that, so here after, right, maybe you are student, which year students you are? Oh, third year, second year, final year students. Okay, it's mixed of all branches. Good, right? Anyhow, right? You may not worry about these things because your syllabus already has been framed. Hereafter, all your syllabus, question papers, right? Everything is connected to this particular 17 goals. Suppose first unit you have to meet up the some of the goals. Second unit meet up the some of the, even what are the subjects? Take machine subject or communications or architecture, reconfigured architecture, any subjects, it should be, right, correlated to some goals. So there are 17 goals. Now if you have COs, right, if you have course outcome, the syllabus have 5 or 6 COs and there are 12 POs. Okay, it is designed to meet up the, right, COs and POs. Similar to that, in future, all your syllabus, that's what I told about NEP, National Education Policy, they are going to connect these 12, so 17 goals. Out of 17, there are few things, right, we can contribute, right? We can contribute here, right? You can see here, affordable and clean energy. So that's way electrical and mechanical engineer can contribute. Similar to that, everywhere. Okay, first one I can see that. So no poverty. So that means, right, whoever studying that you have to get the job. Something like that. Example I'm saying. Okay. Similar to that, then zero hunger. Okay. So right like this you can see that everyone it is connected to the day-to-day life. If you connect the every sentence, it is, right, connected to the day-to-day life. And 17.1 is nothing but partnership for this achieving this goal. Maybe you can take MOU with some other companies or other colleges, something like that. You have to achieve this goal. That's the idea behind this. So our future studies is going to connect these 16 goals. Okay, and out of these 16, this particular 4 and 7 is going to concentrate on our goals. That's why this particular FDP is concentrating on the sustainable goals. Okay, sustainable energy or emphasis on sustainable because you want to achieve these particular goals. Okay. Anyhow, this will, right, I don't want to go in depth of all those things, what is each and every one. So my concentration is, right, even though I have many things, right, we are going to discuss about this clean energy. So clean energy, how we are going to support this particular sustainable developments. Okay. What is the sustainable development definition? There are many definitions because we are talking about the sustainable development. But what is the definition of that? Okay. So if you go through, there are different definitions, right? Development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the availability of the future generation is meet their own needs. What is the meaning of this? Okay. Many people have, right, used to construct one house. Right, few people, even one house is there, they can additionally, if after 10 years, right, they feel that these houses are old model. They are constructing new house. Okay, that means they are acquiring the land, whether it's need or don't need, but acquiring the land, and they are building the another house. So it is converting once the land is converting to the building, never it can convert to the again land. Do you agree or not? Once the building கட்டிட்டீங்க அப்படின்னா அவ்வளவுதான் பில்டிங் தான். ஆர் மீண்டும் மீண்டும் புது பில்டிங் தான் கட்டலாம் விட்டு never you can convert as a land. So that means, right, your future generation க்கு land இருக்காது. Okay, if you go in this way, in future you cannot find the plain land or good land for cultivating the your farmings. That's a big issue. Okay, so that has to be right limit. Okay, somewhere you have to have more ethical, right? You have to live to the future. Okay. Next is a sustainability is just another way of the good life. It's a combination of high level human well-being and a high level ecosystem well-being that supports it. Okay, good life means right enough life. Okay, you have to get the enough things to live the day-to-day life. Right, like that there is here. So what is the ultimate aim of this particular sustainability is we have to meet the present needs, not for the right our future needs. Okay, you have to leave the something for the future for others. Okay, that's the idea about this particular sustainability. Alright, so again, I told now there are 17 goals, SDG. All these 17 goals, alright, few goals are connected to the right few studies. Okay, for example, if you take the your all first one, right, poverty and everything comes in the base. Okay, and economy and all is something is a middle. So the student must know, right, what is the economic rate of the our India. Okay, how the economic right are discussed. Okay, what is the inflation rate of the India? Do you know what is the inflation rate of our country? Inflation rate. Do you know what is inflation rate and what is the inflation rate of our country? This and all student must know. Okay, then only you can support to the economic of the countries. Okay, and what is the poverty line? Everything should know, right? You must have some information about the poverty line, all those things, because we are going to study about this. Our study also going to connect with this. Okay, these are just outline. Right. What are the environmental problems in day-to-day life? So mainly, right, air pollution. Air pollution we cannot able to control now. They are introducing about the EVs, but EVs also indirectly produce the air pollution. Can you say how? Battery, that is land pollution or soil pollution. How air pollutions? Try to understand, right? So main environmental problem is, so olden days are they are usually your all fuel based. Mostly it's a carbon monoxide. It will create a lot of air pollution, right, due to the carbon monoxide. Okay, smoke and all. Okay. Now to overcome this, we are suggesting or encouraging to go for the EVs. But I am saying, as of today's trend, still EVs also producing the air pollution because again we are consuming the electricity from the coal only. How the electricity is produced nowadays? Burning the coal. Okay, so burning the coal, burning again there is a air pollution. We are again using that electricity for clean air. So that's the problem. Okay, so actually what they are doing is, instead of doing the air pollution spread out manner, they are creating the air pollution at one particular place. Okay, so that's why this sustainable development says what is that? We go for the clean energy. Clean energy means go for the renewable energy. Okay, so that's the main problem of environment. So if you want to control one thing, you have to find out the alternate solutions. Okay, so if you look into that, right, air pollution, global climate change, okay, urban air pollution, acid pollution, like that, you have again water pollution. Okay, so you have so many issues, right, the major environmental issues. Okay, this day by day we are also hearing that, right, there is no good water, everything, right. So this everything is possible not only by civil engineer, mechanical engineers, right, it has to be right done by each and every one of you so that we can be able to achieve this. That is the ultimate goal of this particular sustainable problems. Okay, if you write again this particular graph, see here, it's the olden centuries, right? Now recent times, right? You can see this, right? What is that? Here only these industrial revolutions are happening. This particular place only you can have the industrial revolutions are happening. So now increase in the populations and other environmental effects are increased right after the industrial revolutions. Before that, not that much. You can see here, almost it is zero. Okay, only here, right? That all your population strength increases, right? Only the recent times. Okay, so it will create a lot of right issues on the environmental point of view. Okay, so this one is statistical information, right? How the environment get affected, and again, this is again another, right? If you see this plastic wastage, the plastic wastage, right? Around 20 countries, we also 20 among them. But mainly the China is creating the lot of plastics, it is dumping into the sea. We also right creating lot of plastic, but not that much, we are in the middle. So that what will happen now, it is again a ecological system only. If you are dumping the lot of plastic waste to the sea, the fishes are taking inhale that. So again that same fish only we are going to take. Right? Finally, it's going to affect by the human beings. So we must more cautious, right, to prevent the plastic. That's why even I have seen our campus also, right, single-use plastic is not a PVD campus, something like that. Okay, but it should be right. Every one of us, we have to follow them. Then only can able to achieve these particular right sustainability issues. We can able to solve the sustainability problems. See here, there's a metric ton, okay, per year dumping into the sea. We have many countries, the top 20 countries, right? They are creating the lot of plastic waste and dumping to the seas. Okay. This gradually, right? What is the right overshoot day, right? So the natural resources. See, previously it is balanced, right? It's balanced, right? Whatever the cultivations and consumption almost get balanced. Nowadays, supply is less, demand is more. That's why the consumption rate is increased, right? Linearly. If you look at this particular bar chart, if you write, that gradually increases year by year up to 2018, right? I have collected, I put it here. But after collect that year also again it get increases. Okay, so that on August 1, 2018, humans have consumed more natural resources in 2018 than the Earth can regenerate that year according to the California-based Global Footprint Network. So information they are collected and based on that. So the meaning is right, day by day we are destroying the naturals. Okay, and the environment. Right, non-profit calculates the annual arrival of Earth overshoot day, the dates when humanity's demands on nature exceed the network unless estimate the Earth can regenerate over the entire year. Okay, so what is the thing is, right, we have to, consumption not issue, but we have to regenerate, we have to compensate. Then only, right, the future cannot be any issues. Otherwise, there is a lot of issues, right, we have to face all those things. Okay. So what is the again, right? Causes of environmental problems, population growth. Why these environmental effects are happening? So we have discussed. Again, summarize of this one discussion, right? So far, population growth, wasteful and unsustainable resource use, like all fossil fuels and everything. Concepts are very huge. Okay, and poverty. That is another problem. Failure to include environmental costs of goods and service in market prices. Okay, and too little knowledge of how nature works. Many of us, we do not know how the nature works, right? How the recycling process are happening. Okay, how many months or years are happening, right? For decompose on the particular plastic and all. We do not know anything. So simply you are using, after use, just throw it in the street. Okay, so it will keep on accumulate. Once upon time, right, cumulative period of the time, it creates a lot of issues, right? If you not concentrate on the environmental sustainability, right? These particular issues are going to happen, right? Definitely there is a poverty also, right? So because of, right, even many places they not have that much of good drinking water. Okay, they have to pay money and get back all those things, right? So buy the waters and everything. Okay, so there are a lot of issues, right? So if you are not following the, maintaining the environmental sustainability, right? There are many issues you have to, right? Consequences you have to face it. Okay, so these are the things are happening, right? And people with a different environmental worldwide often disagree about the seriousness of the environmental problems and what we should do about them. Okay, we must know the basic knowledge of how to use your natural resources. Okay, same thing, right? What you have, right, told the sentence, right? The picture I have put here, right? There's a population growth, unsustainability of resource uses. Now the many trees are cutting for the different. Now if you all papers are manufactured by the using the tree. Okay, so every day using many papers. Okay, so that also again is a natural destroyer, and you have poverty, right? All your furnitures, right? Everything, right? Sometimes, right, for unmanaging the naturals. So like that, have the different causes are happening in the environmental problems, right? So again, so this red one is developed countries and yellow is the developing countries, right? World populations, right? Growth. If suppose it's not managed or it's not balanced, this environmental natural resources, right? How this? What are the other problems are happening, right? So what is the your population start managed, right? And population growth, the life expectancy. These are the problems that happen. You have to face it. You have to face it. And wealth and income, resource usage, pollution and waste. So these are the main consequences you have to face if not maintaining the environmental sustainability. So harmful results of poverty, lack of access to adequate sanitation of facilities, and number of people in the world, right? Percentage of population. This is the percentage of population, right? This is a lack of access if not maintained. Environmental sustainability, again, poverty, adequate sanitation facilities, enough fuel for heating and cooking. This is not, we cannot get electricity, clean drinking water, adequate health care, adequate housing, and enough food for good health. Good health means, right? Food means is a balanced food. Okay, so these are the things. This is a major day-to-day life. Even is, right, whatever your job or whatever your studies, okay, for living things, right, day-to-day life, we must have some basic things, right? Without this, we cannot live. Okay, so if you want this kind of, right, basic things, right, we must concentrate the environmental sustainability. That's why this SDG is connected to our syllabus. Okay. So what are the solutions for this? So we have discussed what is the importance of environmental sustainability, what are the problems. So as engineers, we must, or engineer, right, or the person, a common person, the society, we must find out what is solution for that. Okay, so they understand our environment and practice the sustainability. Okay, how to withstand this particular issues we have to find out. So we'll see the solution, right? What are the solution to be taken care. Okay, so first, what is the environment? Environment is everything that affects the living organism. It's called environment. Ecology is being biological science that studies relation between the living organism and the environment. So these are the ecosystem. Okay, you have to maintain the environmental sustainability also with the ecosystems. Okay, that is need. Okay. What is sustainability? In the ecology, sustainability is how biological systems remain diverse and productive, long-lived and healthy. Wetlands and forests are example of sustainable biological systems. In more general terms, sustainability is the endurance of the system and process. Okay, right? So again, whatever discussed this only, right? How to maintain all those things, right? Okay. Now this is the important things, right? How this your sustainability is developments are happen. So we discussed, right? Basics of need, importance, and solutions. How the steps of the sustainability studies are happening here. Okay. Before, right, this year, right, before 1987, they are never discussed about the sustainability and all. Okay, before 1987, even if I have shown the previous one graph also, before the industry evolution, right, where all ecosystems are balanced, it is maintained, sustained. Okay, whatever the supply and demand are managed. But after, right, 20th century, it is increased gradually. So population also increased and demand also increased. Supplies get reduced, drastically get reduced. Okay, so based on that, there is a team is working on that how to maintain this sustainability. Okay, goal to achieve this, right? So they are up to 1987, they are never talking about this kind of sustainability and all, right? Afterwards, they have developed the certain procedure that is called, right, millennium. Okay, millennium sustainability. Here only the concept of sustain is developed, and here in 2000 it's called millennium sustainable development, millennium development goals. That is called to maintain the sustainability. Okay, so there is in 2000. Now in 2015 that is called SDG, sustainable development goals. Understood? So previous years there is no importance of sustainability because all our ecosystems are balancedly it is maintained. Afterwards, slowly the consumption increases, supply decreases, so that the team has been formed by the government and is keep on monitoring. It has been right. The sustainable concept has been derived. Okay, we discussed what is the definition of all those things to save the environment. Okay, and afterwards, right, that middle of 1997 onwards, right, all our millennium development goals are taken place. After that, right, that is your sustainable, right, goals, development goals has been developed in 2015. Okay, so that here, right, even the school levels also has been started. Okay, how these sustainable development goals are achieved, right, by the students. Okay, how they want to know about the environment and everything, they must know the things, right? That's why it is happening. So this is how, right, these sustainable developments are happening. Right. So there are three dimensional sustainable developments. Sustainable development has been defined as development that meets the needs of the present without. Yeah, there is interlocking circle models, sustainable developments. So if you again, if you look at this diagram, okay, the common things, right, for common social, environmental, economic, then only you can get the sustainable development and health. If two things are there between two circles, for example, here you can the social and environmental, you can have only the livable. Social and economic is only the equitable. It's not the healthy and good life. So if you want the healthy and good life, we must have these three things, right? Sustainable development, health. So if you put together only, you can be able to achieve this. That's a right exploring from this particular diagram. So this is like a circle model showing that interconnection between the social, economic, and environmental domains is often used to illustrate the health of sustainable development as a concept. Okay, these are the three things, right? We must have in our life. It has also been used to demonstrate the key influence on the health, showing how the same forces determine how sustainable and how human and social, right, social development are happening. So these are the things, right? We must. So what is the net idea of this particular thing is, right? We must have equal socialism, environmental and economic growth. Then only can have the sustainable development health. Okay. So our studies are to concentrate on this. We have these three goals to be satisfied so that we can have this particular life. So that's the idea behind this particular sustainable sources. Now coming to the what are the sources. So I already told there are 17 goals. Out of 17, right, as electrical engineers, right, we must have the some of them how can create the clean energy, or you can use that how the clean energy can be used for our future applications. So if you look at that aspect, the resources for the right this environmental sustainability is a perceptual renewable sources, non-renewable sources, right? So this is nothing but continuous. Perceptual is nothing but it's a continuously reliability source. Can you say what are the reliability sources? Natural sources. I can say this solar and wind. Okay, these are the renewable sources, right? Next is the renewable energy sources. Apart from that, there are many renewable sources are available. We are going to have brief discussion about that also, right? Then non-renewable sources, all diesel, petrol, all fossil fuels comes under the non-renewable sources. So as a electrical engineers, as an engineer, we can support on this aspect, right? How to build the environmental sustainability, right? Through their clean energy. Okay, that's the main motivation of your today's lecture. Okay. Perceptual sources, nothing but renewed continuous on human scale. That's why I told solar and wind energy. Okay. So again, wind is another form of solar energy only. Do you know how the wind has been formed? How the wind has been formed? Anyone? Because you have studied about all the wind, everything, right? Anyhow, right? We'll discuss in future slides, right? So solar, again, some amount of heat that can be used for warming of water or can be used for generating the electricity. Again, due to the variation of heat, there is a wind is formed. That wind again used for generate the electricity. Okay. So these two energies are main sources for our power generation. There are another energy source also, but we have to see the economic point of view. Economic means cost. You want to build a power station that take the more cost. To balance that, right, these two sources are considering for, as of now, they are considering for the power generation. Okay. So how to define the renewable energy sources? It's nothing but sustainable yield, the highest rate at which the renewable energy source can be used without reducing its supply. That means, right, the balance, supply and demand to be balanced. So that's the meaning of this. The highest rate at which the renewable sources can be used without reducing its supply. So that's called sustainable yield. Example, overfarming the land leading to a soil erosion, clear cutting forest. Okay, so we have to, right, farming of land, right? Cannot convert everything to farm. You have to leave some forest also. Okay. And next is the environmental degradation. When we exceed the natural replacement rate, the rate of the resources. Example, groundwater depletion, water pollution. So we have to again waste also, right? There are some examples, right? How these water waste are increasing, right? Day by day also. I can show you that how the more waters are used, right? At what places, everything I can show it here. Okay. Tragedy of commons, degradation of renewable free access resources. If you do not use these resources, someone else will, right? So the little bit I use or pollute is not enough to matter. And such resources are renewable anyway, right? So understood this, right? Anyway, it is freely available. Why can't you use? Like our mobile, okay? Since it is recharged, it is free of cost. Always we are talking. You know, olden days, the mobile phone not used this much, even for talking. Okay, because olden days when I call, I have to pay the amount. Okay, some certain cards, 1 rupee or 2 rupees per minute I have to pay. So based on that, if it is any information, I used to call. But nowadays not like that. We already paid in advance. Since we have paid, we are using it. Okay, so that's the meaning of this. Okay, so right should not be like that. Right, otherwise other problems are happening. Okay, so non-renewable sources exists only in fixed quantities on earth. It's metallic resources like iron, copper, aluminium. Non-metallic resources, salt, clay, sand. Energy resources, coal, oil, natural gases. Right. The thing is, what is this diagram? The bell shape, right? Curve shows that area under the curve equals to total amount of the resources. Okay. Now the thing is, the consumption is very high, but your supply is very less. 80% is consumption, 20% only supply. So that is not, that means that it is not able to manage this particular bell-shaped curve. Okay, so our motivation is through this right type of FDBs, right, we have to bring out right the consumption and the supply at least to manage right 50-50 or 60-50, some 60-40 something like that. Okay, but here is totally different. It's 80% and 20%. That's a big challenge for the researchers and the all government sites. Okay, saving of non-renewable sources, reduce the less resources. That is the reason now even the government of Puducherry, government of India giving lot of subsidies for erecting the solar scheme for all our houses, domestic purpose. Almost right every day you can see the newspaper, right? If you go for solar, 80% subsidies are given by the governments. Reason is, at least now we have to wake up, we have to convert into the other form of energy usage so that we can save the right non-renewable sources. At least we can extend for some more years. Okay, otherwise, right, the problem, right? So NLC is almost going to go over. It's another 10 years. Again, these everything shifted to some other places. Okay, so the goal is mining is going to be over, right? So they are keep on taking every day lot of tons. Okay, so it is not like that. So that the government also all organizations giving the subsidies go for solar based. So I'll give 80% subsidies. Okay, like that. So that we can reduce the usage of non-renewable resources, reuse. The use of resources more than once it is conserved. How can make use reuse the things, right? So that also you have to think of, seriously you have to think of, right, how to use the different product with the bicycling, right? You have to use the, right, byproduct or you can use how to use the recycling process, everything to be done, not use and throw type. And recycle, collecting resources, processing it into the new products. Okay, again the big challenge is even electronic waste are big challenge even today. Okay, so how those electronic waste has to be collected, again do the recycling, okay, that has to be done. So that is again is a problem. So that way we can able to save the non-renewable energy sources. Okay, saving of non-renewable sources like milk and juice, cartons, plastic bottles, right, aluminum, steel cans, glass containers. So you can see this kind of symbols. So wherever you can see this kind of symbols in the product, right, whatever the bottles or cans, right, that means you can use for the recycling purpose. So we have to recommend or we have to always, that's why the single-use plastics are prohibited. You can see that. Okay, so it will ultimately create a lot of right society problems as well as the waste issues, right, solid waste. So again, we have to use this kind of thing so that we can save the environmental right effectively. So what is environmental studies societies? Our lives and economics depends on energy, form of sun, solar capital or natural resources, the natural resource services, natural capital provided by the earth. Living sustainably means living off earth natural income without depleting the or degrading the natural capital of the that supplies. That's the meaning that we should not disturb the naturals. Right? Whatever the natural gives, you have to make use of that effectively and you have to live day-to-day life. That's the meaning of that. Okay. So at any cost, you should not disturb the naturals. Okay. So how can environmentally sustainable society grow economically? Societies can become more environmentally sustainable through economic development dedicated to improving the quality of the life for everyone without degrading the earth's life support system. Okay, again, right? That means should not disturb the earth's life supporting system, right? We have to live. So that, right, is called as environmental sustainability society, right? 4 scientific principles of sustainability. Nature has sustained itself for billions of years by using solar energy, biodiversity, population regulation, and nutrition cycling. Lessons from nature that we can apply our lifestyle and economics, right? So we have to make use of that, how the natural resources can be used effectively, right, to maintain the environmental sustainability, right? So there are things to be done, okay? That means solar energy can be used, biodiversified, that nothing but you have to, ecology system can be used balanced way and population regulation to be done, and nutrition cycling also, right? Common people have the nutrition based, right, managed food and all. Okay, so that way we have to follow this. Then only can able to maintain the sustainable issues can solve, right? Playing into love more more sustainability is a current emphasis. The sustainability emphasis. That means, right, what is currently available, but how we can emphasize the sustainability so that, right, we can maintain the environmental issues, right? Pollution cleanup. That's what current emphasis. And here we have pollution prevention. That's the difference. So here, after making the pollution, right, we are thinking about how to clean. Not like that. Here we have to think how to prevent the pollutions. Okay. Next is the waste disposal, either bury or burn. Here is a waste prevention. So how we can use the recycling? Should not use the single time use at all. Right? We have to create the right. We have to prevent them. So you can see this everything in terms of before happening. This red indicates after happening how to do the mitigations, how to solve the issues. But previous one, how to prevent the issues. That's the difference of these two. Protection, okay, species and protected habitat, and environmental degradation, environmental restoration, increasing resources, less resource base, and population growth, population stabilization, and depleting and degrading the natural capital, protecting the natural capitals. So your sustainability emphasis is nothing but you have to create or you have to think in that aspect, and you have to safeguard your sustainability, right? Through environmental sustainability to be happened. Okay. So this is the right, like how like current and sustainability emphasis are happening, right? Now the people are working on this, right? How to maintain the environmental sustainability, right? To do the many things. Okay. Now, factors dishwasher, right? This example, right? How the many waters are more waters are used. For example, providing class of washing performance dishes with the minimum water and energy consumption in order to leave the better world in future generations. Now they have dishwasher. Have heard about dishwasher? Okay, you want all clean your wash and all plates and everything, right? Now people are using dishwasher, washing machine. That consumes lot of water. Okay, just one glass of water is enough to clean the one tumbler or something, right? But here you need the more waters. So if you place this manner, your consumption rate is very high. So in future there may be a water scarcity also. Right. So now based on this, right, how we can go for the future? Okay, what should be the theoretical aspect? What should be our future thoughts and how that future energy can be generated? What are the different renewable energy sources? Everything going to discuss. So now we are clearly understand that if you go as per the present usage of energy usage, or energy, there is a lot of environmental problems are there. For emphasis on environmental sustainability, we have to think the alternate energy sources. If you go for the alternate energy sources, and here what are the alternate energy sources? Discuss about the solar and wind. How those energy, apart from those energy, how can be effectively used, right? That's where you can do that. So I'll stop it here. Go for a break, then we can continue. Thanks. Okay.
Sanjay, உட்காரு.
Okay, shall we continue? So okay, right? So you will continue. See now, right? What is in future, right? So what kind of energy in future? how we are going to manage, accommodate the renewable energy sources in the future trends. That's the future slides. So, these are the energy resources, alternate energy resources instead of coal, right? And coal and fuels, right? Diesel, petrol, right? We are going for the different non-conventional energy fuels, right? These are renewable energy sources. Solar, thermal, solar PV, wind, hydro, biomass, wave hybrids, right? Tidal, a lot of energy sources. But only the problem is, right, how to generate the power at the low cost. That's a big issue. That's why we are stopping with the solar and wind. If you go with the other type of power plants, right, the production cost increases. Okay. Do you know what is the tariff rate of Pondicherry? Pondicherry, do you know what is the tariff rate? Electricity pay பண்றீங்கல்ல? எவ்வளவு pay பண்றீங்க? Per unit க்கு?
not 2 point sir. 100 na 5.55 sir.
Very good. அப்புறம்
அது என்ன சார்?
Maybe. How many of you know, right, what is the tariff band for electricity? Pondicherry and Puducherry Electricity Board.
Commercial 8 sir.
Right. So the why asking is, right, is told partially. Afterwards 6 rupees per unit. Then we have 7.5 rupees per unit. After 300, we have to pay 7.5 rupees per unit. Okay. Here there is a one significance. There is a difference irukku. Or one important significance irukku. Enna in electricity, if consume more, we have to pay more. நிறைய எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டி எனர்ஜி கன்சியூம் பண்ணீங்கன்னா we have to pay extra amount. Extra amount means 0 to 100 யூனிட் கன்சியூம் பண்ணீங்கன்னா ஒரு யூனிட்டுக்கு 2 rupees 50 பைசா தான் பே பண்ணணும். அதே 1 யூனிட் ஆஃப்டர் 300 மேல பே கன்சியூம் பண்ணணும்னா we have to pay 7 rupees 50 பைஸ். So what is the reason behind ஏன் இது மாதிரி increase in rate வைக்கிறாங்க? If you go for mobile recharge, go with the higher data, we can pay less. புரியுதாப்பா? 2 GB குள்ள 20 GB போனீங்கன்னா ரேட் கம்மியா இருக்கும். 1 GB I'm saying. 2 GB, right, for example 50 rupees அப்படின்னா 20 GB போனீங்கன்னாக்கா maybe 100 or 150 rupees தான் இருக்கும். So while going for higher consumption data, you have to pay the less amount. Whereas in electricity, if you consume more, you have to pay the more amount. What is significance of that? ஏன் இது மாதிரி இருக்கிறாங்க? Yeah, correct. Your answer is correct. Why? Very good, right? ஒரு கை தட்டு கொடுப்பா. கரெக்டா சொல்லிருக்காரு. Very good. Right? Here only the sustainability, right? Environmental sustainability has come because if you consume more electricity, that means you have to burn the more fuel. If you burning more fuel, again environmental issues are there, sustainability issues are there. Okay, all consequences are going to happen what we discussed so far. Okay, but if you use this kind of solar, wind and all, even you can use higher power, no problem because there is no type of any, right, environmental or sustainability issues. That's why government are giving lot of subsidies if you go for the renewable energy source based. Okay, so this idea. So this is so far we are going for centralized energy usage. Centralized என்னது? Power வடத்துல produce ஆகுது. They are distributed to all the peoples. ஏதாவது problem that particular place நாக்க you never get supply. It's correct or not? Something problem at that particular power generation station. Mostly we are getting electricity from Neyveli, Telangana, Karnataka, neighboring state. Okay, so அங்க ஏதாவது particular generator problem அப்படினாக்க we are going to get the alternate generators. அங்கேயும் problemனாக்க we cannot get the supply. So there is not centralized system. This is nothing but decentralized system. Suppose you have own rooftop, right, solar. Any problem outside, you get power or not? You get it because your own, right, solar is there. You get the power. So that is nothing but decentralized, right, power generation. So this is what the future trend. Okay, how they are going to generate the power. So this particular right pie chart give the what is the power generation by using the renewable energy source. Okay, in our India, right, February 2025. Okay, I collected the data, so it shows that you can see that solar is 61%, wind is 28, and rest of the other sources, hydropower plant, biomass, right, all the things, right, they have the some little bit amount of power. So you can see here both wind and solar almost, right, something solar is higher because now the solar is becoming popular, and wind also equally popular. I tell you what is the reason behind why it is not that much popular. I tell you that, right. So because of this, right, government subsidies and right other type of right supporting system, nowadays the usage of right renewable energy source based power supply get increased. Okay, so that's this is source from the MNRE. Okay, Ministry of Non-Renewable Energy Sources. So these are the right what renewable roles by the type, right, various type, right. What is the energy consumption this year, in future how they are going to use it. So that's why the government is giving right lot of support to the public, go with the alternate energy sources, so that we can right sustain the even already available conventional energy sources. That's the idea of the guide. Okay, this is not just historical data, right? No need to see that, just how the energy usage get increases day by day and how it can support with the even renewable energy sources. There are various sources. Okay, so what is the need of right? Now you can see that right some part, right, even you can heard about the hybrid vehicles. Okay, hybrid means you can use the two sources. Okay, for example here you can go with the solar and wind, or solar with the some fuel cell, or hydrogen fuels are also, it is becoming popular nowadays. Okay, based on that you can generate the electricity. So you can, why can't you do these two sources? Okay, what is the need of that, right? Integration of energy system in India, accommodating of higher penetration with the renewable energy sources with the least cost and good power quality and reliability. And the other major issue in the renewable energy source is not reliable one. என்ன சொல்றேன்னா, 3 இன்னைக்கு wind இருக்கும், நாளைக்கு இருக்காது. Solar also sometimes have high solar. Suppose there is cloud form ஆயிடுச்சுனாக்கா there is no solar. We cannot get the power. So we have to go for the hybrid. என்ன பண்றாங்க அப்படின்னாக்க, nowadays presently the electricity board எப்படி டிசைட் பண்றாங்கனாக்க, the base load are supported by the fuel based, conventional source based. Peak loads are supported by the renewable energy source. What is the base load? What is the peak load? Base load. Yes, base load naka throughout the day is going to happening in the power system. Okay, உங்க வீட்ல ஒரு base load எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம். எல்லா நேரம் ஆன்லயே இருக்கிற base load. Very good. Fridge மட்டும் பாத்தீங்கன்னாக்கா 24/7 லைட் கூட சமயத்துல வீட்ல ஆஃப் பண்ணிட்டு போகும் இல்லையா? So fridge மட்டும் தான் all the time. That is called base load. One of the best example for base load is fridge. Okay, so and the fridge வந்து you will support by the conventional energy sources. Now the wind sources are there, wind supply and or solar. Okay, those power it is used to supply the peak demands. Peak load என்ன வீட்ல சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம். Domesticல என்ன peak load examples? Geyser, அப்புறம் AC, washing machine, okay, grinders, mixie, morning, most of the time mixies are used. Okay, this is called as a peak load. Now சில ஆஃபர்லாம் தர போறாங்க கவர்மெண்ட்ல, seriously they are thinking of right how to give the offer in the electricity. Okay, இப்போலாம் ரீசெண்டா நிறைய electricity bill increase ஆயிடுச்சு, நோட்டீஸ் பண்ணீங்களா? How many have you noticed? ரீசெண்டா பாத்தீங்கன்னா லாஸ்ட் 2 months பாத்தீங்கன்னா உங்களோட எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டி பில் எல்லாம் ரொம்ப ரைஸ் ஆயிடுச்சு, 2 times 3 times ஆயிடுச்சு. Okay, what they are going to do it, they are going to give some right kind of right subsidies. Subsidy means right kind of right some schemes எல்லாம் கொடுக்க போறாங்க. என்னன்னா ரீசெண்டா பாத்திருப்பீங்க ஹோட்டல்ஸ், பஸ் டிராவல்ஸ் எல்லாம், I don't know how many of you have used that, right? During weekend the tariff ரொம்ப அதிகமா இருக்கும், பாத்திருக்கீங்களா? Right, during weekend or festival seasonல ஹோட்டல்ஸோட டேரிஃப்லாம் வந்து ரொம்ப அதிகமாக இருக்கும். அதுவே ஆஃப் சீசன் Wednesday, Thursday புக் பண்ணீங்கன்னா ரொம்ப குறைவா ஈவன் டிராவல்ஸ் ஆல்சோ ரைட். வாட் இஸ் த ரீசன் பிஹைண்ட்? ஏன் மேல வைக்கிறாங்க?
Demand.
வெரி குட். டிமாண்ட் அதிகமா இருக்கும்போது we are increasing the right rate also. டிமாண்ட் குறைவா இருக்கும்போது just for survival இல்லையா, ஹோட்டல் காலியா இருக்கிறத விட 4 பேர் இருந்தாங்கனாக்க அன்னைக்கு சப்ளை மட்டும் அன்னைக்கு வாட் சப்ளை வந்து மட்டும் மேனேஜ் பண்ணிக்கலாம். நோ நீட் ஆஃப் கெட்டிங் ப்ராஃபிட் வந்து வீக்கெண்ட்ல பார்த்துக்கலாம். ஸோ தட் த சிஸ்டம் இஸ் ஃபங்க்ஷனிங் ஆல் தி டே. ஒர்க்கர்ஸ் இருப்பாங்கல்ல, அவங்க எல்லாத்துக்கும் எல்லா நாளும் சம்பளம் கொடுக்கலாம். யூசேஜும் காமனாக இருக்கும். அதர்வைஸ் என்ன தெரியுங்களா, அந்த அந்த மற்ற நாள்லாம் வந்து ஒன்றுமே இருக்காது. ஓகே, இது இஸ் கால்ட் இஸ் பேலன்சிங். ஓகே, அதே மாதிரி உங்களுடைய எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டில they are going to bring some what is that this kind of balancing system. என்ன பேலன்சிங் அப்படின்னா, suppose if you use your load during the peak hours you have to pay double the rate. peak load என்ன சொன்னானே, வாஷிங் மெஷின், கிரைண்டர் இதெல்லாம் இருக்கு இல்லைங்களா, இதை வந்து peak hours. எப்போ peak hours?
6 to 10.
evening 6 to 8, 10 or morning some hours is called peak hours. In the hours la if you consume, because why they are restricting அப்படினா, every conductor they are fixed some rating. If you use everyone use that time the current increase, so the conductor is not enough to carry those currents. அதை அவாய்ட் பண்றதுக்காக they are going to balancing the load. They are going to put two type of tariff. Already this in the series of discussion is going on how to balance this. So peak load la வந்து நீங்க consume பண்ணீங்கன்னா you have to pay 2 times tariff. If use non peak hours, இந்த டைம்ல வந்து வாஷிங் மெஷின் இதெல்லாம் யூஸ் பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னாக்க you get the normal subsidy rate. புரியுதுங்களா? So they are going to balance it. So அதெல்லாமே எப்படி முடியும் அப்படின்னாக்க we should have the enough right electricity. Okay, அதான் அந்த ஐடியா. இது எப்படி பாசிபிள்னாக்க through your smart meters. Now most of the houses are installed the smart meters. So smart meters keep on monitoring. They set the peak hours. In the peak hours la consume பண்ணா more rate. Off peak hours naaka less rate. So that the powers can be balanced throughout the day. You see the load curve, almost the power is balanced. Load curve naaka time versus load. Almost flatter. Almost. But இப்ப அப்படி இல்ல. மார்னிங்ல அப்ப பீக்ல இருக்கும். During the midday noon time it will be less. Again during the evening hours it is peak. It is not like that. சரிங்களா? அது மாதிரிலாம் கொண்டு வர போறாங்க. Then we have one more system. It's called prepaid scheme. நம்ம மொபைல்ல ரெண்டு ஸ்கீம் இருக்கு இல்லையா? Postpaid, prepaid. What is the postpaid scheme? What is the prepaid scheme?
Postpaid means after using this we have to pay.
Right? Prepaid?
Limit use பண்ணிட்டே
Use, pay. Postpaid. Pay and use. Right? Pay and use is a prepaid. Use, pay is a postpaid. This is how it is used in the mobile system. But what we are following in the electricity bill concern,
postpaid.
எல்லாமே postpaid தான் பார்க்குறோம். அதெல்லாம் என்னன்னாக்க நிறைய டியூஸ் இருக்கு. நீங்களே பார்த்துருப்பீங்க, சில வீட்டில் கரெக்டாக பே பண்ணிடுவாங்க, சில வீட்டில் மோர் தேன் 3 months 5 months பே பண்ணாமல் டியூன்னு வந்துகிட்டே இருக்கும். ரைட்? நிறைய கவர்மெண்ட் ஆஃபீஸ்லாம் பே பண்ணாமல் இருக்காங்க. ஸோ அதை அவாய்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்காக they are going for the prepaid scheme. ஸோ prepaid scheme என்னன்னாக்க you have to pay in advance. அது நம்ம யூனிட் கன்சியூம் வாட் யூ ஆர் டூயிங் இன் யுவர் மொபைல் லெஸ் ஆகிட்டே வரும். ஓகே, ஐ வில் ஆஸ்க் ஒன் ஜென்ரல் கொஸ்டின்ஸ். ஹவு many kilowatt is required for normal house? ஒன் டேக்கு எவ்வளோ கிலோவாட் தேவைப்படும்? நார்மலான லோடு, ஒன் ஃப்ரிட்ஜு, ஒரு வாஷிங் மிஷின், ஓகே, அண்ட் மிக்சி, 5 லைட்ஸு, 5 ஃபேன்ஸு, 6 kilowatt, nearly okay. Okay, so normally 3 kilowatt is enough. I am asking the basic loads. AC எல்லாம் போட்டீங்கன்னாக்கா you need of nearly 6 to 8 kilowatts. ஓகேவா? எல்லா டீடைல்ஸும் எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டி பில்ல இருக்கும். What is the maximum kilowatt? ஒவ்வொரு வீட்டுக்கும் ஒரு கிலோவாட் ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க. They will calculate. Okay, how do you calculate? Every point they calculate watts with the current. Multiply voltage with the current multiplied and watts. So this is the maximum watts. Like that only it is estimated. அதை வச்சு தான் கண்டக்டர்ஸு எல்லாம் மீட்டர்ஸு எல்லாம் ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஓகேங்களா? ஸோ இதெல்லாமே எப்போ முடியும்னாக்க we have to forecasting that type of loads. ஸோ இதுவும் இன் ஃபியூச்சரில் வரலாம். என்னன்னாக்கா லைக் ப்ரீபெய்ட் ஸ்கீம், you have to pay in advance. Once amount reduced போயிடுச்சுனாக்கா you will not get power. It will stop. அதே மாதிரி 30 days 30 days you have to pay in one more. will not get the power like mobile. Midnight 12 o'clock close ஆயிடுதா இல்லைங்களா? Again you have to recharge. So that government get 100% profit. No dues இருக்காது. So இதெல்லாமே இருக்கு side. So for that they are doing all kind of right series discussion and all kind of right analysis are going on, right? In for that this kind of right decentralized, that's why you call it decentralized system. So going for decentralized system, right, we can have own power and also if you want you can get the power. Actually now here we have only one power supply is there, that is a electricity board. But go to foreign countries, there are different vendors like your suppliers, like your mobile phone. There are different network suppliers, no? Right? So other like Vodafone, Airtel, right? BSNL. Similar to that, there also have a lot of right suppliers are there. We can select. Right? I can go here also in future. Adani, Tata, they are doing that job. So they are going to give their electricity through the renewable energy sources. We can see that their tariff. Okay, which one is less? Which one is gives a continuous supply without interruption. We can go those things, right? So those kind of, that's why it's called smart grid. Everything is going to come. So once established everything, we can have that those kind of powers. Okay, that is future la possibles. Okay, so that is a basics of here. We are starting the basic of sustainable and everything. In future, we can select the supplier. At the end, we can pay either postpaid or prepaid as per our convenience. Okay, right. So this, that's why this presentation is you have to create a limiting carbon emissions. Okay, go for the new renewable energy sources. Can limiting the carbon emissions, right? Maximum usage of assets. That means a lot of renewable energy sources are available. Okay, make use of the things, right? Managing customer demand during peak hours. Understood? So peak hours are now. There are a lot of corporate companies. They are installed their windmills, right, near Coimbatore district and Kanyakumari district. Okay, and there are some reasons why they installed there. Because there the average wind velocity is higher. Okay, and the wind velocity irundha mattum da rotate agum. They calculate what is the average wind velocity of that particular location. Sila edathula mattum da you get the average wind velocity is much higher. Adhe maarna why India is more preferred for solar? Because out of 365 days, nearly 360 days will get the solar. But foreign countries not like that. They have only solar only for during some time, like 3 hours, 4 hours. But we have the average solar nights is available in India is much higher than the other countries. That's why the solar power is becoming popular, right? And also it is peak in our India. Similarly, that wind energy also during the some places average wind velocity per annum will be higher. So the two locations in our Tamil Nadu, one is Coimbatore district, Palladam, next is the Kaitar, Kanyakumari district. Those places the wind velocity is higher. Then other state Gujarat. I will show the right what are the states and where location where the wind velocity is higher, so that they are installing their windmill there, generating power, inject to the grid, and they can consume their wherever want. How they are calculating EB bill? Supply minus consume. Balance they have to pay the bill. Okay, so like that the management can be done here and lowering the cost of electricity. Right now, right, your consumption is increased nearly 7 rupees. Yes or no? 300 and all 300 units easily it comes. If you use AC and all every day 10 units. Okay, 1 AC, 2 units means 20 units. Okay, so if you go for the alternate energy, your cost also reduced, right, considerably, and improving the reliability and security of the microgrid applications. Right, you can have the own internal grids. We can have diesel generator, backup, everything is possible here. Okay, so that's the need of the integration of the various energy sources. Right, right. This is a very interesting slide. And what is the right? If you many TV shows and all, you can see that some pictures are given. You have to name it or comment something. No, can you give some comments about this picture? That's all. The picture and a link is clean and green energy. Brainstorming, Mari, just to find out, right, how these two relate. What we have discussed so far. We need of electricity. Then எப்படி correlate பண்ணுவோம்? Any idea? Is your mind? Last week Dinamalarla the news வந்துச்சு. Last week Dinamalarla the news வந்துச்சு. நியூஸ் பேப்பர்ல படிக்க மாட்டீங்களா? நோ. இந்த நியூஸ் தான் படிக்கலாம் படிக்க மாட்டீங்களா? அப்புறம் ஆப்பிள் இருந்தாலும் சரி ஆப்பிள் இருந்தாலும் சரி யூ டு ரீட் இல்லையா? அப்பதான் நமக்கு தெரியும். ரைட். So the answer for this picture is the answer. ரைட். படிக்க முடியுதா? தமிழ் தெரியுமா எல்லாத்துக்கும்? தெரியுதாப்பா? படிக்க முடியுதா? The China, they are invented, right, one flower. Right, indoor, இதெல்லாம் வளர்ப்பாங்க தெரியுங்களா? செடி வளர்ப்பாங்க, வீட்டுக்குள்ள செடி வளர்ப்பாங்க தெரியுங்களா? Right, they are growing inside, so no need of light. This itself, the leaves itself gives the light. The flower itself gives the light. So no need of any energy. Okay, no need of any kind of external energy. Right? Morning time through sunlight it captures some kind of energy. Right? Evening time, this itself gives the some kind of minimum lights. If I suppose this room, I need the 5 or 6 parts is enough. No need of lights. Okay. So this other kind of, right, some research is gone, right? They are got this kind of things, right? Right? Who knows in future, right? He is also, right, comes instead of have, right, 4 parts or 5. I mean, small plants is enough to get the lights. Okay. So recently I have seen this. That's why here. How many of you have seen this? Last week, last Sunday, okay. Please go through your newspaper. It also require, right, while going for job, there is something called group discussion. Group discussion, a topic you have to talk. It's difficult to get the job. Wherever you go, you have to speak. Whatever the job, you have to speak. If you want to speak, you have to gain the knowledge. Okay, you have to gain somewhere, then only you can be able to speak. Okay, suppose I am speaking about this. How can I know, right? How do I know? Only have to prepare, study, read, do the things, right? I have to capture the meaning, information while traveling, right? Everything like I am able to speak, right? Just actually last week I have noticed this. Since I have presentation today, just I have taken the photo of that. Okay. So this is another way of we can use the save the energy or save the environment. Okay. It is not never any disadvantages to the environment. This no, we have multiple advantages. Okay, we are growing the plant as well. You can get the lights. Okay, right. So renewable light, your generator using the solar, wind, right? Say thermal heat, biomass, including of animal waste known as non-renewable sources, right? And all these sources are renewable or inexhaustible and do not cause environmental pollution. Moreover, they do not require heavy expenditure. That's a heavy expenditure means running cost. Actually, while going for any type of power plant, okay, we have to put some capital cost. Yeah. So I have to build the building, I have to construct the buildings and machinery, then I have to generate it. I have to, afterwards, if I go for diesel generator, I have to purchase the diesel. Okay. Or if you go for coal based means I have to purchase the coal or crude oil. Okay, you have to use that. So there is a running cost is much higher. But here the running cost almost zero. Only the capital cost. So that way I can save the right tariff rate. So non-renewable sources, right? Natural that can be replaced and reused nature and termed renewable. Natural that cannot be replaced and termed as non-renewable. Renewable sources are replaced through natural process at rate that equal or greater than the rate at which they are used, and replacement usually not their worry. Okay, so olden days, even lignite, the production is higher. Farming of lignite is higher, usage is less. That's why till today we are getting the coal, lignite type of coal near Neyveli and using that. If you started very early, you could not get the coal now. Okay, those days formation of is something is balanced with the usage. Now formation of coal is very less, but usage is very high. That's why we are thinking of the other kind of the alternative sources. We are talking about discussing about the environmental sustainability and so on, etc. Okay, right. So non-renewable sources are inexhaustible, exhaustible and extracted faster than the rate at which they are formed. Example, fossil fuels like coal, oil, natural gases. Still, many industries they are using the crude oil. Last stage of your petrol, diesel, right, corrosion, and then last we have the crude oil. Still, they are using that. Okay, but day by day it is decreased, and that's why the cost also increased, right, parallelly. So how much longer we depend on the fossil fuels? Because they are fossil fuels that do have a life expectancy. Burning fuels has increased atmospheric pollution. Carbon stored fuel is least, right? As carbon dioxide, they are burned. This leads to the green gas effect and global warming and all. Okay, that's why we are going for the environmental sustainability. Okay, so if you keep on use this, the temperature increases, right, day by day. Okay, those days, right, your normal temperature, even summer also it is less. Now, even summer season, right, the temperatures nearly 100 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, sometimes 105 century. Usually you are hearing the news through newspaper, news channels. Okay, because of using this kind of fuels and carbon monoxide and other problems, right, for air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, right, it's happening. Okay. Right. So this particular again diagram gives you what is the sector-wise consumption of electricity utilization, right? Don't see the year, right? Just one study only I have put it here, right? So domestic level, how much? Agriculture, industries, right? So there are different area of consumption. This is based on the your sector-wise consumption of natural gas, right? And this is the production, petroleum products, right? How it can be used, right? So in put together, the consumption is higher, industry side and parallel the domestic, right? Also it is increases. We have to think of the alternate energy source. Some of the industries they are producing their own power supply. It's called cogeneration. They are taking their byproduct. The steams are used to generate the power. That is called cogeneration. They are using that to generate the power. Okay, this is a source-wise and state-wise estimated potential of renewable power in India ASR. And if you see here, Gujarat, right, is maximum. It is nearly 1,21,000, right? And afterwards, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu you can see here, right? Only 54,000 only. Okay, so that means still we are not using that much of renewable energy sources for our consumption. Okay, that's why in Gujarat and all sometimes we have excessive power. But still in our right, most of the states they are not able to manage the supply and demand. Okay, still the demand is more.